Pupils in the coastal provinces heading back to class tomorrow, but it might not be the case, I'm afraid, for some pupils in some areas of KZN. Remember last year, hundreds of schools were damaged by the April floods. Many of them have not been repaired up to standard. Also, some infrastructure issues still preventing teachers from doing their jobs. So just how bad is it? eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli joining us. Hello to you, Lethiwe. Let's get a sense then. Less than 24 hours to go. What is KZN looking like?
Well, Gareth, that is the big question. Right now, we are standing outside Britainwood High School. It's one of the schools that was badly affected by the floods last year in April. We saw many classes flooded, and we actually came to the school with the minister when they were conducting oversight visits, and we saw the classrooms being flooded. And the department, when we spoke to them last year, they had said that they were going to make provisions for the school, providing mobile classrooms so that teaching and learning can continue. We've just heard from the Teachers Union SATU that unfortunately since last year no work has been done at the school, and we do understand that the classrooms that were flooded still have not been fixed. So the question still remains whether this school and many others will be ready to reopen tomorrow, and learners to learn basically, because of the issues that a lot of schools are still faced with here in the province. But right now I'm actually joined by Umaunoma Kaluza from SATU. I want to bring her in because they know more about the situation in the province currently. Ma, thank you so much for joining us at eNCA. Like I said, Britainwood High School was affected by the floods. We do understand that no work has been done. The classrooms have not been fixed. Do you think that this school and many others is ready to reopen tomorrow?
Thank you. As you are saying, Britainwood is one of those schools that were affected by floods, and tomorrow, as we are receiving back learners, it is concerning that in some of the schools there's no progress. In fact, nothing has been done. Whilst we appreciate the work by school governing bodies, as you can see, they are dealing with the sports ground here. But talking about the classrooms, the block that was affected, hugely affected by the floods, is still the same. Nothing has been done, but the school had to find its own ways of making sure that they accommodate learners, which may have resulted in overcrowding in classrooms, which is something that affects teaching and learning. And it's important for the department to prioritize the schools that were damaged by those floods.
We've also seen other schools complaining of many other issues, such as the lack of teachers at schools. Yesterday, KwaMganga High School in Umlazi, parents protested there outside. They were saying that they've seen an increased number of learners failing, and they are attributing this to the lack of teachers at the school. What do you have to say as the Teachers Union?
From our view, the understanding we have of what was happening at KwaMganga is the issue of the misunderstanding around the implementation of policy on the progression of learners. Some parents were complaining that their children were supposed to be progressed to grade 12 to grade 11, whereas we all know that there are different policies for progression in GET and FET phase. What we can say is that to encourage parents and schools to take each other through when there are issues of concern. Instead of protesting, it's always important to come together around the table and understand the issues for what they are. Of course, the issue of the shortage of teachers, it remains a concern in KZN, as we know that there has been budget cuts, and we've been engaging the department to say they must make sure that there is an appointment of teachers in all schools. But our worry continue to say, if the department or the government in the province is not subsidizing the Department of Education in terms of augmenting the budget, how will the teachers be paid or be appointed in schools, as we know that there are budget cuts which were implemented or effected at a national level by the National Treasury, but they get to affect our schools here. So the provincial government has to find means and ways of supporting the Department of Education to ensure that all schools have enough teachers.
And lastly, Ma, do you think that these schools that were affected by all these problems, including the floods, do you think that they are ready to reopen tomorrow?
Not all of them. Remember, it's not just the issue of schools being ready. It is also about those learners that were accommodated or displaced to community halls and all that. We've been checking with the department, and what we are getting is that those learners are being placed in some schools. So not all schools are ready for teaching and learning, but also the learners that are in those halls, they have to be placed in schools where they can fully be accommodated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there is Nomarashia Kaluza from SATU here in KZN, just basically saying that as teachers' unions, what they have observed is that a lot of schools that were affected by the floods in April are not ready to reopen, but they are asking for the Department of Education to get involved. We will be trying to speak to the Department of Education here in the province and get their sense of view as to what are they doing to make sure that these schools that were affected reopen tomorrow with no disturbances.